rugged, imposing Caucasus Mountains lies the Republic of Dagestan, a land where the earth itself seems to breed warriors. It is a place where legends of combat are whispered in villages, and where boys are measured not by their words, but by their mettle on the wrestling mats. From this crucible of unyielding pressure and martial tradition emerges a figure who embodies its spirit in its purest form. A stoic, silent predator whose economy of movement is matched only by the finality of his strikes. He is a tactical puzzle wrapped in an enigma, a fighter who lets the definitive results of his work speak for him.
Back to his feet. That's crazy. Looked like Iwan was going to spin. Magomed Ankalaev trying to get Kunal out of there. Unconscious.
This is the story of Magomed Ankalaev, from the humble beginnings of his ancestral home to the precipice of world domination. Born on the 2nd of June 1992 in the small village of Telet, Magomed Ankalaev's path was, in many ways, predetermined by his geography. In Dagestan, wrestling is more than a sport. It is a cultural cornerstone, a rite of passage. While pursuing his education in the sports faculty at Dagestan State University, he fully dedicated himself to the ancient and demanding discipline of Greco-Roman wrestling. Unlike freestyle, Greco-Roman forbids attacks below the waist, forcing its practitioners to develop immense upper body strength, a vice-like clinch, and a profound understanding of throws, trips, and body control. This was the bedrock upon which Ankalaev would build his entire fighting empire. Instilling in him a phenomenal core strength and a grappler's intuition that would become an ever-present threat to his future opponents. However, wrestling alone could not contain his ambition. He soon discovered Combat Sambo, the formidable Soviet martial art designed for the military, which seamlessly blends the grappling of wrestling and judo with the brutal striking of boxing and Muay Thai. For Ankalaev, it was a revelation. It was the missing piece that connected his grappling base to the art of finishing a fight. He took to it with natural aptitude, his discipline and strength making him a terrifying force. His dedication was rewarded with the prestigious title of Master of Sports in Combat Sambo, a high honor in the Russian Federation that signifies an elite level of technical proficiency and competitive success. Before earning his first professional purse, Ankalaev laid waste to the amateur mixed martial arts scene. Competing under the World Mixed Martial Arts Association, he proved to be leagues ahead of his peers. He became a Russian national champion and then a world champion, showcasing a polished and mature skill set that belied his amateur status. These early battles, fought away from bright lights and big paydays, were crucial. They were where he learned to manage adrenaline, implement a game plan, and, most importantly, win. He concluded his amateur career with a flawless record, a silent storm brewing in Eastern Europe, ready to be unleashed upon the professional world. On October 18, 2014, Magomed Ankalaev stepped into the cage for his professional debut. His opponent, Vasily Babich, provided a stern test. taking the heralded prospect the full distance. Ankalaev emerged victorious via a majority decision.
Magomed Ankalaev!
A valuable and immediate lesson that in the professional ranks, victory often has to be ground out through grit and determination. His next move was to sign with the burgeoning and powerful Russian promotion, World Fighting Championship Akhmat. It was here that he would truly come into his own. He dispatched Dovlejan Yagshimurantov via unanimous decision. Before securing his first professional finish against American veteran Lloyd Cadillac Marshbanks. Stopping him with punches in the first round. This time against Artur Astakov, proving that his power was a legitimate threat. In 2016, his career took a significant leap forward when he entered the Akhmat FC Light Heavyweight Grand Prix. His most formidable challenge came in the tournament final against Maxim Grishin.
Из самых известных на просторах постсоветского пространства, за его плечами огромное количество поединков.
A vastly more experienced and highly respected veteran with over 30 professional fights to his name. For 3 rounds, it was a competitive, tactical battle. But in the 4th, Ankalaev's class began to show. He found his timing, hurt Grishin, and finished the fight with a barrage of punches. Winning the Grand Prix and cementing his status as the best light heavyweight in Russia. His next fight was for the inaugural WFCA Light Heavyweight Championship against a man who had already walked the walk in the UFC, the powerful Brazilian Wagner Caldeirão Prado. This was Ankalaev's chance to make a global statement. He needed less than a round. He connected with a clean, devastating punch that sent Prado collapsing to the canvas, unconscious. Magomed Ankalaev was the champion. He would defend his title once more, stopping Celso Ricardo da Silva with another first-round TKO. A dominant performance that served as his graduation from the regional scene, with a perfect professional record of 10-0, with 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. The call from the sport's premier organization was inevitable. In October of 2017, the undefeated Dagestani champion signed on the dotted line. The UFC's light heavyweight division was about to receive a new and formidable threat. When Magomed Ankalaev arrived in the UFC in the spring of 2018, he was not just another prospect. He was a paradigm.
With crushing kicks, staggering punches, and a high-level grappling pedigree, Ankalaev believes there's no way the belt goes anywhere other than home to Russia.
He was the next wave of Dagestani dominance, an undefeated champion with a fearsome reputation for finishing fights. His debut was set for London, England, against the tough and notoriously resilient Scottish submission artist Paul Bearjew Craig.
Paul Craig versus the debut fighter Magomed Ankalaev.
Oh, that's what he was looking for. He was looking for a level change up.
What transpired on that night would become a foundational, albeit brutal, chapter in the Ankalaev saga.
Nice.
From his knees.
Wow.
Lifting Paul.
A lesson in the unforgiving nature of a sport, where victory can be snatched from the jaws of defeat in a single, fleeting second.
Falls to the floor. Was he a little dazed by that?
For 14 minutes and 59 seconds, the fight was a flawless exhibition of Ankalaev's superiority.
Ankalaev trying to wrap that head.
He's actually turned his head away.
He was a phantom that Craig could not touch. His movement was fluid, his distance management impeccable.
Was in, he couldn't see the direction that the head was turned, so he's just throwing to whatever target's there.
He peppered the Scotsman with crisp jabs and powerful straight lefts, snapping his head back repeatedly.
Wise to that, does however roll and puts
A thudding body kick in the first round doubled Craig over in agony, and it seemed the end was near.
Big shots from Ankalaev here. Paul Craig crammed up against the fence in a very uncomfortable position.
Ankalaev controlled every phase of the fight, stuffing takedown attempts with ease and dominating the grappling exchanges whenever they occurred.
Ankalaev looked to pull and turn Paul Craig over, but
as the fight entered its final 10 seconds, Ankalaev was cruising to a dominant 30-27 decision victory.
Before you level change, so you know that there's nothing coming your direction.
It was a perfect debut in all but its final moment. From his back, in a last act of sheer desperation, Paul Craig threw his legs up and locked in a triangle choke.
Oh, look at this! Beautiful work by Paul Craig!
The London crowd roared to life, trapped, and with the seconds melting away, Ankalaev was forced to tap.
triangle set up.
The official time of the stoppage? 4 minutes and 59 seconds of the third round. He had lost with 1 second left on the clock.
What a tight triangle that man must have.
The shock was palpable. A perfect record erased. In the final moment of a fight, he had utterly dominated. For many fighters, such a psychologically devastating loss could be a career killer. But Magomed Ankalaev is carved from a different stone. He returned to Dagestan, processed the harsh lesson, and re-emerged 6 months later, not with doubt, but with a cold, terrifying focus.
Marcin Prachnio from Poland against Magomed.
His opponent, Marcin Prachnio, was the unfortunate soul who had to stand across from this renewed force. Ankalaev wasted no time, landing a spectacular head kick that sent Prachnio stumbling, and followed up with a brutal flurry of punches to seal the knockout victory. He had earned his first UFC win and his first Performance of the Night bonus. The message was sent. London was an aberration.
Beautiful finish!
This victory marked the beginning of one of the most impressive winning streaks in the modern history of the light heavyweight division. He next faced the powerful Brazilian Klidson Abreu, methodically picking him apart over 3 rounds to earn a clear, unanimous decision. Showcasing his tactical intelligence and ability to win a 15-minute chess match. His next performance was a return to the spectacular against Dalcha Lungiambula. After 2 rounds of tactical striking, Ankalaev unleashed a stunning front kick that landed flush on the chin. Knocking Lungiambula out instantly and earning him a second Performance of the Night bonus. What followed was a strange and heated two-part saga with the aggressive Moldovan Ion the Hulk Cuțelaba. Their first encounter in February 2020 ended in a storm of controversy.
The stakes are high in this one. Couple of kills.
Ankalaev landed a series of clean head kicks that visibly rocked Cuțelaba. The referee, Kevin McDonald, misread the situation and stepped in to stop the fight just 38 seconds into the first round. Cuțelaba was incensed, and the MMA world largely agreed the stoppage was premature.
Knockout Magomed Ankalaev.
A rematch was immediately necessary. After multiple delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they finally ran it back at UFC 254.
All right, Ankalaev.
Now a ranked contender, Ankalaev began his march through the division's elite.
Nikita.
He faced fellow top 15 fighter Nikita Krylov, a dynamic and dangerous striker.
There we go. I mean, both guys, to their credit, I'm not being...
After a competitive first round where Krylov pushed the pace, Ankalaev made a key tactical adjustment, turning to his wrestling to control the final 2 rounds and grind out a unanimous decision. It was a mature victory that proved he could adapt and win, even when his initial game plan was challenged. He followed this with a masterclass performance against former title challenger Volkan Ozdemir.
Magomed Ankalaev.
He completely neutralized Ozdemir's famed no-time knockout power, using masterful footwork and distance control to pick him apart from range for 3 rounds.
Right now, I feel like if he wanted to be more aggressive himself,
cruising to a lopsided unanimous decision.
Magomed Ankalaev.
The UFC rewarded his consistency with his first main event slot against another former title challenger, the legendary knockout artist Thiago Santos. Over 5 rounds, Ankalaev proved he belonged in the championship picture. He fought a disciplined, intelligent fight, respecting Santos's power while consistently outlanding him. He demonstrated that he had the gas tank and the composure for 25-minute fights.
Я думаю, я уже заслужил титульный бой.
His streak continued at UFC 277 against Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Oh man, beautiful combination there.
After a tactical first round, Smith suffered a leg injury early in the second.
He landed a front kick to the body. That's an excellent weapon for him.
Like a shark sensing blood, Ankalaev immediately pressured, secured a takedown, and finished the fight with a relentless barrage of ground and pound.
Oh, big ground strikes from Ankalaev now.
Oh, my huge shots.
Shows the fight back. That'll do it. Montalvo steps in. 9 in a row.
It was his 9th consecutive victory, an undeniable run that had cleared out a murderer's row of contenders. There was nowhere else to go.
TKO Magomed Ankalaev.
The next stop was a date with destiny for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. The culmination of a 9-fight, 4-year winning streak had arrived. At UFC 282 in December 2022, the stage was set for Magomed Ankalaev to seize the throne. Due to an injury to the reigning champion, the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship had been vacated, and Ankalaev was booked to fight former champion Jan Blachowicz to crown a new king. This was the moment his entire career had been building towards, a chance to fulfill the promise that had been evident since his days as an amateur champion.
Turn full throttle as the UFC closes the pay-per-view schedule with a bang.
The fight that unfolded would become one of the most dramatic and controversial championship bouts in recent memory, a brutal test of his will, and a prelude to further adversity. The fight was a tale of two distinct halves. For the first 3 rounds, the Polish powerhouse Blachowicz executed a perfect game plan. Systematically attacking Ankalaev's lead leg with devastating low kicks.
Come up a little bit.
The thudding impacts echoed through the arena, and by the 3rd round, Ankalaev's leg was a mangled purple mess. His movement was severely compromised, his ability to plant and throw his powerful left hand all but gone. The championship was slipping through his fingers.
And again, he gets him. Soon as
Lesser men would have folded, but between rounds, a critical decision was made in his corner. Knowing a striking battle was now impossible, Ankalaev abandoned his kickboxing and reverted to his core identity. He became the Dagestani wrestler. In the 4th and 5th rounds, he relentlessly pursued the takedown, dragging the former champion to the mat with sheer force of will.
Sharp left-hand connection now.
He dominated the final 10 minutes with suffocating top control, raining down brutal ground and pound.
5th and final round. Something there appeared to bother Young.
Many cage-side observers scored the 5th round a clear 10-8 in his favor. When the final horn sounded, Ankalaev had overcome immense adversity and seemed to have done enough to win the belt.
strong finish by Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah. Right, so
then came the judges' scorecards. The verdict? A split draw. The title remained vacant. A disbelieving and heartbroken Ankalaev, speaking through a translator in the octagon.
Я не знаю, что сказать. Я выиграл бой. Мне почему-то не дали пояс.
Voiced his profound frustration, questioning if he would ever fight for the organization again. After a 10-month layoff to heal both his body and his spirit, he returned to face another bizarre hurdle. At UFC 294, his opponent was the wildly unpredictable Johnny Walker. The fight ended in yet more controversy. In the first round, Ankalaev landed an illegal knee to the head of his downed opponent.
oh, that's illegal.
During the ensuing timeout, the ringside doctor checked on Walker, whose dazed responses led the doctor to deem him unfit to continue.
Oh, the ref's trying to call the fight. Ref's trying to call the fight.
Oh, unbelievable.
The fight was waved off and declared a no contest.
Bout is declared a no contest.
It was another frustrating, inconclusive result that did nothing to advance his standing.
Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker, no contest.
The UFC correctly booked an immediate rematch to serve as the main event of the first card of 2024. This time, there would be no judges, no doctors, no controversy.
It's a little more expensive. The odds makers saw enough.
This time, Ankalaev would provide a definitive ending. He remained poised and patient through Walker's unorthodox early attacks.
And how he can bait you in, and he's even faster than thought.
Then, in the second round, he saw his opening. As Walker stepped in, Ankalaev timed him perfectly with a thunderous counter right hook that landed flush.
Head kick because he's constantly going. Wow, that's it.
A second devastating uppercut followed as Walker was falling, sealing a violent and spectacular knockout victory. He had emphatically reasserted his claim as the #1 contender.
Magomed Ankalaev settles the score
and earned another well-deserved performance of the night bonus to erase any lingering doubt. the UFC matched him in a final title eliminator against the dangerous Austrian striker Alexander Rakic at UFC 308.
Alexander Rakic!
In a high-stakes showdown, Ankalaev delivered one of the most complete performances of his career.
That was a nice slip.
Straight left.
He showcased a masterful blend of skills, neutralizing Rakic's vaunted leg kicks, controlling the center of the cage with pressure, and mixing in timely takedowns to keep his opponent completely off balance. The result was a dominant and clear-cut, unanimous decision victory.
Unanimous decision, Magomed!
The path was finally clear. There was one man left. On March 8, 2025 at UFC 313, Magomed Ankalaev stepped into the octagon to face the champion. The terrifying and mythic striker, Alex Poatan Pereira. It was the ultimate clash of styles. The sport's most feared knockout artist against its most brilliant tactician. For 5 tense, captivating rounds, Ankalaev executed a perfect game plan.
Again with it. There's the shot. There it is.
Good defense by Pereira. Pull him up.
He used constant lateral movement, feints, and disciplined footwork to stay out of range of Pereira's devastating left hook.
Ankalaev's trying to get it back to the octagon side. 2-level change.
He absorbed punishing calf kicks, but never lost his composure, firing back with clean, straight punches. The difference maker was his wrestling. He secured a critical takedown late to the 3rd round, and another in the 4th.
Yeah, they want to believe in him. But if they're booing, it's because the fight's not...
Draining the champion's energy with his heavy top pressure.
This is grappling on the octagon side. Control.
With the fight potentially even heading into the 5th and final round, Ankalaev left nothing to chance.
It didn't seem like it was there.
With the final horn sounded, there was a quiet confidence in his corner. The judges' scorecards confirmed what the world had just witnessed. Bruce Buffer's voice echoed through the arena. And new, undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Magomed Ankalaev!
Unanimous decision,
The stoic warrior from Dagestan had finally reached the summit.
champion of the world!
His journey, marked by a shocking debut, a heartbreaking draw, and bizarre controversies, had only served to harden his resolve. His fighting style is a masterwork of modern mixed martial arts. A patient, defensively sound southpaw striker with a diverse kicking arsenal, all built upon a foundation of suffocating world-class sambo and wrestling. He is a fighter who wins not through chaotic brawls, but through systematic deconstruction. Magomed Ankalaev's story is a powerful testament to resilience. A quiet man whose actions in the cage have finally roared louder than any words, culminating in his rightful place atop the most dangerous division in all of combat sports. His reign has just begun.
Magomed Ankalaev trying to get